This is the electrolyzer. Hydrogen comes out this line and fills all these tanks. The fuel cell is on the other end that reconverts it back again into electricity.
And are you using like silver to separate it, or is it
Use the solar.
solar? I mean, like the common to separate solar.
No, it's platinum. Yep. Fire this baby up. This back feeds the grid. So this is a total power plant for a house. You just drop it off. So we're going to go commercial with all of this stuff. The rays you see on the ground are all live. The ray up here is tracking. So we can custom tailor this to anybody's home.
And something this size would power...
Power a home in an emergency, absolutely.
An entire home?
Yep.
You guys from
This puts out 5 kilowatts. 10 kilowatt peak. Hey Rex.
Hey, good to
Mike
see you.
Stritsky, how you doing?
Great to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, just friendly.
So, just trying to sort out everything you're showing. Are you going to do like a little spiel for everybody, or
Well, we're going to all the talks go in when we're like conducting tours all around. So you want the 5-minute skinny?
Well, what I would understand is the home system. I guess
Okay.
the fuel box. I
Okay.
refer to
It's this.
Can't beat it.
Station,
Like,
I was
okay.
more interested in
No,
that.
Okay, so the home thing is simple. You can have solar or grid electric, it doesn't matter. You can store the energy. So energy comes in.
You don't necessarily have to disconnect from the grid if you're not scaled right
No.
on solar, right?
This works with the grid. This is a grid interactive system.
Yeah.
So this is producing $14,000 of positive revenue for her a year. She gets a 1-year write-off on the entire system. So this makes sense. This is the ability to store kilowatt hours without batteries going down. Okay, so that one tank is probably 1,600 pounds worth of batteries, and it's only equivalent of 6 gallons of propane. So there's only 4 kilograms, which is 4 gallons of gasoline in one of those tanks.
So can I steer you to one specific perspective?
Sure.
Because it would help me a lot, because I'm interested in this for my personal as well as just telling people about it. We have we have solar voltaic at our house.
Right.
Okay? We have a 6 kilowatt system.
Yeah.
With 2 different inverters. One is, they're both grid tied, but one is a battery backup, and I have the bank of 8 gel cells.
Right.
It has the potential to adapt that to this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I may not have enough solar panels, and certainly don't have as many as these guys do, but 6 kilowatt solar array enough to be meaningful?
Absolutely, because all it does is all you need is a propane tank and one of these babies, and this basically stores it, and then the fuel cell will reconvert it when you need
So
it.
rather than putting excess back into the grid, I'm putting in the hydrogen basically.
Yeah. But guess what? You can take it off the grid and store it as well.
Yeah.
So this is basically the battery that never goes bad.
Right.
Okay? And that's the advantage. It's good today, so it will be 100 million years from now.
Do you think it can be adapted to some of the existing inverter technology out there, or do you have to rededicate all your inverter stuff?
No, this is all standard equipment. Everything here is standard equipment. So we can custom make it. Hey, hey, Clerico!
That's what I wanted to hear. All right.
It's me, unfortunately. Give me a quick second.
Sure.
All right.
Scalable to different needs.
We can do
requirements.
megawatts. This is scalable all the way up to megawatts. All the equipment is available to go from 5 kilowatts to 5 megawatts.
Okay.
Okay. Ballard makes a fuel cell that are 500 kW block modules. We use ultracapacitors with these to pick up the heavy loading, and we use a small battery bank for the transition. And that keeps all the costs right where they need to be. So, I mean, we did a whole system for East Amwell Township,
Okay.
where we went in and designed a system where they needed an 80 kilowatt generator. We did it with a 20 kilowatt solar system.
Okay.
Okay, because all the peak loading was picked up between the batteries and the, they go in when they size the generator, they go through the fuse panel, and they say whatever the panel's rated for is what we're building the generator. Well, when we went and actually measured the loads, it was less than 20% was continuous. So we just designed for the continuous and put hydrogen as the kilowatt hours for peak.
So what ultimately limits it is how fast you can generate the hydrogen, sort of ultimately. Right?
Not anymore. That's the magic of all this. The reason I'm going public with this is the Millennium Rain energy system can do daily round-trip transfers of hydrogen economically.
Okay.
So that's the difference. Okay? There's no expensive platinum inside of the cells, and that's going to be the game changer.
Right. Sorry, I didn't explain that over.
Yep.
Great.
Hey, nice to meet you. So, I mean, the system is simple. We're taking renewable or grid storage. We can do peak shaving. We could do a whole lot of things that we couldn't do before economically. So, you know, we're going to the next evolution. You know, think about the only thing that we're putting into the air here is pure oxygen and pure water. And we're consuming only photons. And we're not transporting it from Saudi Arabia where it's got to be protected. You know, where it has to be.
I don't think you have to convince anybody here of that.
Yeah, I mean, this system is coming. You know, Toyota's already paved the way by doing the Mirai. The Mirai basically, you know, fills at 10,000 pounds. It has to be a certain weight and size to be feasible. You know, the stuff I'm doing is easy compared to them. But what I'm doing for them is I'm making the home the infrastructure.
Yes.
So when you come home, you can fill your car. Okay? And that's the nice thing. You know, the Tesla takes 9 hours to charge. The Mirai takes 3 minutes.
Do you envision those kind of stations being commercially out there?
Absolutely.
Replacing gas stations, basically?
They're gonna have a pump where you'll get your choice.
Yeah.
You know, even with existing fossil fuels, we can add hydrogen to it, create high-thane, reduce the emissions by 50%, and have 20% free fuel from renewable.
So is this station we're looking at here both electrolysis and fuel cell?
This is an entire plant that you can set anywhere. You can take this in the middle of Alaska, you can drop the thing down. It'll take solar or wind resource depending on what you have. You can add as much ground solar as you would like. You can add battery boxes up to 16, and it's all programmable. I designed all the controls so it's all interactive. The other half of this cabinet has the hydrogen fuel cell in it. It has the grid tie inverter, and this will actually backfeed a grid from a 115 volt plug. So let's say I have excess, my hydrogen tanks are full, my batteries are full, and I've got excess electricity. I take the cord, I plug it into a 115 volt outlet, and I'm backfeeding the grid. So nothing goes to waste. If you have the grid resource, great. If you don't worry about it. So like I said, this one's generating...
Under what circumstances would you do that? Why wouldn't you just make more hydrogen and store it? Because your tanks would get too full, basically?
You may not have room for any more tanks. Okay. You may not need the hydrogen that you're doing.
There's no need to store that much.
Right. And you may want to make some money on it, selling it back to the grid.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, I mean, this is an all-in-one.
Is this operating this house, or this is...
This is going to... No, this is the demo that's going to power all the equipment that's running around here. Okay, so we're actually plugged in here, and we're going to power all the mics, the
She
speakers.
has one in the house?
Her jewel box is right there.
Oh, okay.
See?
And that's the permanent location?
That's for her. That's the permanent.
So it doesn't need to be inside the basement?
Right. See the box out there? My name is Mike Stritsky. I'm the president of Renewable Energy Holdings and Hydrogen House Project nonprofit.
Talk to me about this project and what motivated you in putting it together.
Well, I live in the first solar hydrogen house in the Western Hemisphere that was dedicated in 2006. I spent the last 9 years refining the system so people could afford it and we could get this out to the masses without any grants under people's regular pocketbooks. And that's what we've achieved here today. This event is the world's first commercially viable and affordable solar hydrogen home in the world. And that's why it's a big day for energy. Most people know this date is 9/11. But I view it as Energy Independence Day.
About some of the things, I guess, that make this possible. It's now scalable. Some of the technological advances you figured out, and some of the other technologies.
Yeah, I mean, Toyota's helped a lot in this field. They've released 5,500 patents free to the world to jumpstart this technology. And they did something much harder than the hydrogen house by doing a vehicle. Something that goes down the road at 80 miles an hour. It's parked in the home garage, you know, and has to pass crash testing all over the place. So they've been working on this for 10 years. I've been working on it for 30 years. But the reality is this technology is the next evolution from horse and buggy to fossil fuel, now to the hydrogen economy. And the reason all this is happening is because we see, you know, China and India going into the machine age and what they're doing to their countries. So we're showing that there is an alternative, there is a solution, and it's shining in the sky, the big nuclear ball. That's my kind of nuclear.
And I was going to say, you talked about the fact that this is clean. I mean, this is the only thing it's putting out in the air. I guess you said it's what, water and hydrogen?
100% chemically pure water and a little bit of heat, and you're putting out pure oxygen. I mean, can you imagine the planet getting cleaner by consuming oxygen? I mean, by just consuming sunlight, photons. I mean, this is the holy grail of energy. I view that the way energy is going to be done in the next 10 years is that energy will be free. You will be building equipment to harness it, to distribute it, and to service and sell it. So energy's free, equipment you're paid for and maintain.
Talk about solar. It is expensive to implement it, but there's a payback, I guess. What's the timetable for that?
Payback on this home is about 7 years. This particular system here will be about $14,000 a year in positive revenue between avoided electric costs and SRECs that are generated from the house under the basic solar system programs. Plus they get the ITC credit as well.
And how long does it take to install something like this?
This whole system, permits, everything and all, took us about 6 months.
Anything else I forgot to ask you want to add about this?
Well, you know, we're evolving right now. I brought a lot of the things that I use in my hydrogen house. Since I've been, you know, living the hydrogen life for the last 9 years, I've converted everything over from hot water heaters to stoves to ATVs. I mean, I cut my grass with a hydrogen fuel cell lawnmower that doubles as my my portable power plant any place I drive it. So if I'm having an outing, I can run it off either my Polaris Ranger, that's fuel cell powered, or my lawnmower. So, and the beauty of it is everything interconnects. So I can share hydrogen or electricity between the Ranger, between my fuel cell car, between the lawnmower, between the jewel box. So this is really a milestone where we're basically making a Roby type appliance where you just, you know, the hydrogen is the battery and you just keep plugging in, you know, the cordless drills and the hedge trimmers and the weed whackers.
Thank you very much.
For how many units will be installed in New Jersey, United States, and what do you think the future of the grid is? Appliances, if you want to call this a system, in every home, what happens to the grid?
By the way, national plug.
The grid is just going to be maintained by the public. You'll pay your surcharges to put in or pull out, and it'll maintain how it's being done.
They talk about
It's not much different than it's done right now.
right, but they talk about our grid is you know, old and deteriorating. Does this take pressure off the grid if like every house has?
Of course it will, because you're not having to run that tower miles down the road. You'll have a bunch of microgrids that are all actually balancing the grid.
Yeah. So if you could predict the future, how many homes will this be in this town, the state, and the United States?
You know, you basically can go by history. I mean, when big screen TVs came out, how many homes was it in initially? You know, 5 years later, all over the place. Cell phones. I don't know how many people told me that cell phones would never happen because they were too expensive and there were no towers. Now they're all over the place. Technology will evolve as need to drive it moves. And right now, the need for this is worldwide.
Is there anyone or anything holding these kind of systems back?
Sure. I mean, you know, we're in a
Who are they? Give me their names.
Well, no, I'm going to give you an example. We're in a blockbuster world and I got the digital technology.
Okay.
Okay? So if you're holding to the old technology, you're going to end up dead like the dinosaurs. You know, there's the quick and the dead. So you've got to move in advance, and if you don't, you know, you're going to be left behind.
Very good. If I was smarter, what other questions could I ask?
That's a good one.
Well, government is holding us back.
Well, like I said, you know, what drives everything, you know, wealth, jobs, and everything is all attributable to technology. All right, I had the opportunity to go down to Texas and listen to Meku Siku, the physicist, about his vision of the future. And the vision of the future, that all wealth is derived from advances in technology. So we have to turn around New Jersey and the world and start embracing technologies and develop them like the Chinese, the Indians, and the Koreans. We forgot how to do that. We have to keep all our jobs at home and we have to build quality stuff. The price is not the driver.
So like any technology company worth its salt, do you have a good lobbyist and a good lawyer?
Well, I don't have a good lobbyist and I don't have a good lawyer, but what I do have is I have the public wanting this. I have a public that is hungry for this. And you know, we all have children and grandchildren that we want to leave a planet for. You know, my goal in life is to give the gift of renewable energy to the next generation. Students 30 years ago gave me the gift. When I did the American Tour de Solon, taught me that it's doing more with less, not more with more. And that's a gift that I intend to pass on to the next generation, to my children and my grandchildren. I'm not going to leave them decimation which we tend to do over green.
Any of your own patents are involved with this system?
I have a number of patents. I have a lot of trade secrets, and
The reason I asked for you have a lawyer because there's a lot of suing over patents going on now in technology.
like I said, you keep it as a trade secret.
Okay.
You never put the keys to the car in the pocket.
Thanks so much for your time.
Okay, you're welcome.
Mike, can I get Sonny?
We stopped it, but you have to understand that the fossil fuel industry is wasting hundreds of billions of dollars a year trying to keep us addicted to fossil fuels. At the same time, they're taking away the capital from companies like yours and wind companies that want to build off the coast. And so, part of it is to get government back into the game of actually doing their job and regulating. When we're doing offshore wind, they say you have to do a cost-benefit analysis.
Yeah, we were on it.
That's fine, but natural gas doesn't. And we can prove offshore wind meets a net benefit test. And not even throwing in the just the cost of the electricity meets the net benefit test. But when you throw in the societal benefits of clean air, carbon, water use, people forget that the biggest water user in this country is cooling for power plants. It's the biggest, not only do you get superheated water, you get fish kills and impingement, but you get superheated water that adds to the eutrophication of our rivers, and yet you can produce all this power, cleanly. And then when you throw in energy efficiency, you realize that they're the ones that are costing this, because once you do the original investment, it becomes free.
Energy efficiency is a big part of what we do. No sense trying to heat and air condition the outside.
Well, that's our whole, like the goal we have in New Jersey is to get 100% renewable electric and a 30% energy reduction through efficiency, which is how compared to the house down the block, how much more efficient is your place?
It's about 90% more efficient than the average house.
Right.
Best way to save energy is not to use it.
Absolutely. And for every dollar you put into efficiency, you save $4. So
You want to live in a thermos, and you want to be able to control the energy inside and outside. Absolutely. Everybody that's here, I'm gonna say something that's pretty simple, but I bet you no one's ever thought about. You have a lot of southern-facing windows in your house, and it gets pretty hot, right? So how many people go and pull the blind inside? Okay, keep the sunlight from going in the house. Well, guess what? The heat is still going in the house. The sunlight comes through the window, hits the blind, and it radiates into the room that you're paying for the air conditioning. Now, if you go outside and you put an outdoor blind on, or you put in a canopy where you're basically shading that high horizon sun in the summertime, you're basically saving all that radiated energy that's going into your house to your air conditioning. Talk about simple, stupid. Okay? But people don't realize these things. So that's the whole key to all of this, is the first way to save energy is to not use it. Do the energy efficient appliances. Then go to the renewable after that, after you've done your homework. We've done the same thing here. We worked hand in hand with the homeowner. This has almost all the bells and whistles of my home, which uses 90% less energy than the average American home. The other thing that we've done that's really unique is we do energy management of the renewable. So we control the loads to turn on and off when you have the most available sunlight. So there's a lot of different ways that are coming up. Everybody's seen all the home monitors and stuff that are out there now. This is just the beginning of the revolution, and it's going to be driven by you guys. Okay? I guess I'm about ready for the keynote, so...
It's been driven by you, Mike. Thank you very much. And are you gonna have that canopy product come out with so many other products you've invented?
Yeah, I've got a few, huh?
Thank you for sharing.
Hey, Mike, how much hydrogen do you store here per year?
Pardon me?
How much hydrogen do you actually store here?
Do I store it here?
Right, in the tanks. How many
this
kilograms
tank?
of hydrogen?
This has 1,900 liters.
1,900 liters of hydrogen.
Hydrogen, yeah.
Okay.
Which is the equivalent if you're doing BTUs.
Right, yeah. All the
about,
conversions get so confusing.
Yeah, so it's about 4 gallons of gas, 5 gallons of gas, 6 gallons of propane.
Okay. So what was it, 1,700?
1 kilogram of hydrogen is equivalent to a gallon of gasoline.
Okay.
Okay? So the Murai will drive 300 miles on 3 kilograms. So 3 gallons of gas to go 330 miles.
Before you speak, can I get a picture in front of the jewel box?
Sure.
How about it?
I'm sorry, actually New Jersey State Department of Education?
We have some projects that are student projects that are coming in as part of the Hydrogen House. We're building a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle that I already have. I have about a $3 million hydrogen fuel cell car I built in 2000 that I've been driving for the last 15 years. We're going to be retrofitting it with ultracapacitors, advanced batteries, and 2 new fuel cells. And we're going to go for, right now I hold the record at 470 miles. We're going to go for 1,000.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, I already built this with 7 schools.
7 schools?
Yeah, we did Rutgers, Rowan, NJIT, Mercer County Votech, Hunter Polytech, a few more, Rensselaer.
Oh my gosh, so you're no stranger to the academic sphere. That's wonderful.
No, I worked for the Department of Transportation, and my involvement was with the schools as part of an outreach program. I built 2 fuel cell cars for the American Tour de Soul. We had 100 Central High School, we had a bunch of schools, businesses, government all involved. We're building a hydrogen fuel cell boat this year. I got a $500,000 boat donated that I built in 2003 for the Southern California Coastal Management District that will run internally without having to put any energy in. It's just like my Range Rover. It's solar, hydrogen, and fuel cell. Same thing with the lawnmower as well.
I just found out about all of this stuff. My brother sent me the invite and showed me like
We have the keys to all the energy above the planet if we're willing to use it.
Beautiful. Well, we'd love to, I guess
You got some of my pamphlets and some of the stuff that are on the table?
I'll make sure he has everything.
Okay.
Thank you, Jen. Because I wanted to, perhaps at some point throughout all this, I could perhaps sit down and speak with you a bit further
Yes.
about what we do. We definitely feel that this is the absolute perfect project to promote sustainability all throughout the nation.
Well, the thing is, you know, something like a jewel box at a school shows everything. You've got wind, you've got solar, you've got hydrogen, you've got batteries, you've got water purification, all in one box. On a pallet that you can move for every student event you want it.
That's phenomenal.
It also has an electric vehicle charge station in it. So this one here connects to the jewel box, or we can put a charge station on it. That's charging this car, yeah.
So this house is completely off-grid.
He walks the walk.
The house is grid interactive. It can be off-grid or it can be on-grid, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, and it's 90%.
This is the plug-in for you.
Yes.
This is truly amazing.
Well, I definitely appreciate meeting, sir, and we'll definitely talk more after everything is
Okay.
It settles a little bit.
Good deal. Down to the garage, where it's basically stored in batteries, it makes hydrogen, and it backfeeds the grid all at the same time. So the whole system is managed. So this is what you consider a permanent installation, where this would stay with the house in perpetuity. The portable unit is sitting right there. It's called the jewel box. It's got solar, wind, hydrogen, water purification, batteries, ultracapacitors. It's a total power plant in a box that's portable. You can take that and sit it in the middle of Alaska, give it a GPS position, and you can always get water, electricity, and power. If you have remote cabins, it's perfect for that. So we'll take a walk down. The next thing you'll see, hydrogen fuel cell lawnmower. This is what I cut my grass with. Fuel cells on, charging the batteries. It also has 1,100 watts of power for any kind of event. You have a nice flexible solar canopy, 20% efficient cells. And these charge the battery as you're cutting your lawn, plus providing the shade. There's no sunlight, we run off the fuel cell and the batteries. So this can be used to power an event. You can drive it in the middle of your yard, plug in, run your cordless tools, run your camping event, whatever. It's a very versatile piece. I've been running it now about 3 years. Polaris Ranger, same thing. This all runs from solar hydrogen. This has the same capabilities. You've got your flexible solar. We have never plugged in either of these two things into the grid. Basically, you leave them sit out in the sun and they charge themselves. Batteries run low. Hydrogen fuel cell back here runs the hydrogen off the tank. You got a 100-mile range instead of 25. Okay? Fuel cell powered motorcycle. 100-mile range, you're looking 70 miles an hour. So everything runs off the same power sources. The jewel box will fill hydrogen for either of those two vehicles. Alright guys, excuse me a minute. Alright, gonna be part of the tour. Oh, great. Okay. You got everybody here? Alright, so the first thing that the solar does is it satisfies all the loads in the house. So your air conditioning, your electric cars, your heat pump, whatever you're running, that energy is satisfied. Then it goes into battery charge mode. It charges all the batteries up and they're full. The inverters that you see here on the wall are 40 kilowatts of battery inverters. So basically when the power is totally out or you're in off-grid mode, these will power more than the whole house.
Excuse me, 40 each or 40 some?
Each one of those is 10 kilowatts. Okay? And they're all grid interactive, they're all viewable over the web. We have a web box that you can look anywhere on your cell phone and take a look how much energy you're generating. Okay? So if there's a power outage in this house, 7 milliseconds later it switches on to the backup system, which consists of the batteries, the hydrogen tank, and the fuel cell. The house has approximately 8 days worth of storage, even if there's no sunlight and the solar is broken. But with the solar, you can survive inevitably. Just you charge up in the day and the 8 days that you have stored in the tank, so you always get something. So this is regularly a battery system, but when we go to the fuel cell, we're storing all those kilowatt hours of excess power that this is only about a day. Okay, there's 8 days in the tanks. Okay, and we're storing that where in the batteries, if you use more than 50% of the energy in here, the battery's dead. Every time you cycle this battery or don't use it, it gets less and less and less. Hydrogen in the tanks is forever. It's good today, it will be 100 million years from now. In addition to that, hydrogen, you can use 100% of the energy. You can use every last pound that's in it. So nothing goes to waste. It's 80% of every molecule in the universe, so it's very abundant. And it's safer than any fuel we already know. You have a leak 45 miles an hour into outer space. You can't chase it with a flame. The reason the Toyota Mirai is out here and is for sale in cars that can go down the road at 80 miles an hour and crash into buildings and bridges and park in the family garage with 10,000 pounds of hydrogen in it, that's how safe it is. My pockets aren't as deep as Toyota's, and they feel it's safe enough to put in the public's hands, which is why they released the car and along with 5,500 patents free to the world. Toyota's making the statement, we're right behind them, turning the home into the infrastructure for that vehicle. That's why Toyota's here today. All right, let's take a walk. Okay, so this is where all the magic happens. We pour water in here. Deionized water runs into the unit. The unit splits water into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen is vented out, which we're all breathing here. The hydrogen gas goes into the tank below your feet. There's a 1,000-gallon propane tank here, 8 days worth of energy storage. Okay, so we're taking kilowatt hours and we're storing it in hydrogen gas, which is forever. You need it back again, you run it through the fuel cell, which is on the other side here, which reconverts the hydrogen gas and oxygen from the air back into electricity. Goes in and charges those batteries and then runs the battery inverters. So the simple science to this house is it's water to hydrogen, hydrogen to water. Power of the sun does the conversion. There's no wheels to well. Byproducts are medical grade water and oxygen, pure oxygen. Yes?
Batteries are in the system because...
The batteries pick up the buffer. So any kind of heavy load or transition is picked up by the batteries, which is what batteries do well. The batteries in this system will last way longer than conventional batteries because we limit the discharge rate and we limit the amp hours and how it's going out. Picture what we do in this system is exercising the arm, not ripping it off or not atrophying it where it does nothing. So the batteries should get 16 to 20 years out of this system. The batteries in my hydrogen house now are over 16 years old, and they cycle every single day.
Sorry, that's because you're not cycling them down so far.
Yes, we limit it. The fuel cell kicks on, it's designed to kick on and monitor the batteries. When it hits 20% rate of discharge, it charges the batteries, and the fuel cell only runs when there is insufficient power. So if there's no solar, and there's not enough, the batteries are low, fuel cell kicks on. What makes the system economical is the fact that we've balanced all the components. If I were to put a 100 kilowatt fuel cell in this system, you couldn't afford it. but I can do it all with a 1 kilowatt because all I'm doing is amp hours. I'm letting the batteries pick up the heavy lifting.
Mike, explain how the hydrogen heats the house.
The hydrogen doesn't heat the house. There's a heat pump and it provides electricity that heats the house. Right, so we're converting it. You can also burn hydrogen just like you would in your cooking stove. I have stoves that burn on hydrogen. We brought one here today.
You can cook with it.
You can cook with it. You can run it in your furnace for heat. So there's all kinds, whatever you can do with fossil fuel, you can do with hydrogen. And does anybody know what happens when you burn hydrogen? What do you get?
Medical grade oxygen.
Water.
Sorry.
You get water.
When you make hydrogen.
Yes. So that's a pretty good byproduct, yeah.
Where's the electrolyzer at?
Right here.
Does that generate heat?
It generates heat.
Do you capture that for hot water?
You could capture it for hot water, but it's low-grade heat. I mean, if you wanted to preheat, I have a geothermal system at home, and that gives me unlimited hot water. You know, and if you're going for solar hot water, that's the best. So, anybody else with questions?
Any need that this has to be outside, or can it be in a basement?
It can be wherever. The unit that's inside of this cabinet is out of a GC unit, which is made to be indoor. I took it all out, its guts out, and redid it for outdoor weather-tight applications. But it's perfectly legal UL to run indoors. Yes?
Do you have large systems for commercial use?
This technology is scalable up to megawatts. Yeah, Ballard makes fuel cells that are 500K. It's called their ClearGen system. And the electrolyzers that Millennium Rain has will go up to megawatt scale. So we can store wind, we can store daily transfers of energy. So you can use, if you had a big enough solar system, you could store all that energy during the day, run it through the fuel cell and use it at night. Something we've never been able to do. Anybody else? Answered everybody's questions. Man, I'm good. No, this is commercially sold. This is not my house. My house is the experiment.
How often will the electrolyzer need maintenance or repair?
You basically change the filters out about once a year, and you may change the DI resin bags. Other than that, there's not much to do.
The user, the owner can do that?
The owner can do that, but we'll give a maintenance contract with the units when we're selling them now. You know, yeah.
Is that water in the tank if you have a problem with it freezing?
What we do is we bring this system indoors for the winter. Okay, because we don't make hydrogen during the winter.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Not enough sun to make it.
Right. You're going to be pulling hydrogen. Just to explain the energy cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, the energy cycle on my home is similar to the homes we'll be building. You're going to make hydrogen 3 months of the year, and that's going to be in the spring. So when you have longer solar days and you have no heat or air conditioning load, you're making hydrogen with your renewable. Okay? My house, the second week in June, all my tanks are full. I have 10 1,000 gallon tanks are full. All right, so I backfeed to the grid till the end of September. All right, at the end of September, I've made all my money from selling power back to the grid. Now I go on to a neutral phase, so I don't need to take any or put any back till December. December, January, February, March, and part of April, I don't have enough energy because of the short solar days and the panels being covered with snow to run the house. So any additional that I need that the solar can't provide, fuel cell turns on and runs. Usually at night, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours.
So this 1,000 gallons is enough to power this house?
This 1,000 gallons, well, the energy is there. The devices that you have to convert it depend on what your need is. This one is kind of like a trickle charger system where it's going to be able to maintain all the critical loads in the house indefinitely. So that's basically, it's not air conditioning or heating, but it does cover everything else. And during the sun, you can switch it on to use everything if you have enough renewable. So the system is set up so that you can actually manage your loads, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Can this system function off-grid?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%
We could throw the switch and she'd be fine. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Why does your house have 10 1,000 gallon tanks?
Because I fill cars.
Okay.
What would be the required tank capacity to just
You know, I got that lawnmower out there too.
What if we didn't want to fill cars, just running a house?
All right. A 1 kilowatt system is adequate for a house. And that's what we have sitting here. That's the small green box.
What about the cost of the system?
The cost for the system is actually going to be less than a solar system cost 3 years ago. This particular home is way overdone. As you can see, we have an awful lot of solar, but the system, the base system we're doing is about 12 kilowatts. It'll cost about $130,000. You're going to get an ITC credit of about 40%. You'll get 1 year depreciation off it, and the system will generate probably about $5,000 positive cash flow a year from avoided electric cost and the S-rates.
So do you guys have any products for like condominium associations or apartment building?
Well, the thing is we can design systems to meet whatever our energy load is. The whole purpose of what we've done is to create micro-channel architecture in the jewel box where we can add batteries, we can add more solar, we can add bigger hydrogen tanks, so it's all scalable. So picture you buy a base computer and you add on more memory, you add a bigger hard drive, you add better graphics. We have that capability, and that's exactly what we've done with our systems. Is we've taken the base boxes, as you see there's a number of these boxes that are around here. Each one of them suits a different purpose. We have a high pressure refueling station as one box. We have an electric vehicle charging station that's one box. We have the jewel box which has the water purification. So you can add options. We build a box to your specifications, just like when you ordered a computer over the internet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that you're manufacturing hydrogen for cars. So if I had a hydrogen car, I should get hydrogen from you until the infrastructure is in place?
Yeah, so we can do that. That's why I brought the unit here today. So that we show you that, the whole purpose is to make your home your infrastructure for the vehicle. And that's why Toyota brought the Mirai here. So you can take solar energy and you can make hydrogen with it that you can use for your house and also to fill your car. The other thing that this gives you is that you don't have is you can do peak shaving. So if you have an off-peak meter, you can make all your hydrogen at night when the kilowatt hours is cheap. So there's a whole lot of options that you can do. This opens up a whole new world of energy management. Anybody else?
What is the catalyzing material needed to make hydrogen?
Well, the catalyzing material can be a number of different things. They make all different types of electrolyzers. This one here is what's called a PEM, proton exchange membrane, which has platinum in it. The ones that are sitting up there are alkaline that only uses stainless steel, plastic, and nylon. So there's different ways of doing electrolysis. Which one's going to win out in the end? It's like beta and VHS. We'll find out.
How long does that material last?
Well, I mean, the material lasts as long as I've seen right now. As long as the pure water is going in and the PEMs, they're going to last, I don't know, 20 years. The ones that in the alkaline electrolyzers could last indefinitely. I couldn't even give you, because they're not subject to contamination like the PEMs are. Anybody else? Yes.
What's the timeline as far as having this kind of technology available on a mass scale?
Well, we're starting now. We're putting a public company together to do this right now. Anybody else?
Do you have a bolt-on for salt water? Do you have
we have the Hydra units do have a bolt-on for salt water. So we can do water purification from the salt water that we can use in this. But this system's a closed loop. So once you make the deionized water, it can go from fuel cell right back to the electrolyzer again. So nothing gets consumed in the process.
So there isn't a consumption. So if you can continue the loop, there's no loss in the loop.
You actually, in some places, you may have some losses in arid countries, but places like here, you're going to have positive water because it'll pick up the humidity from the air. Yes?
Do you feel these systems can be easily integrated into like wireless energy transmission receiver systems and such?
Telecom is where these things started out at. Okay? If you want to look at the biggest uses for fuel cells right now, it's going to be forklifts, plug power. You have Heister is all converting their equipment over to fuel cells right now. They just bought companies. You're looking at Ballard is getting into the forklift game. You're looking at telecom. You've got companies like Relion and Plug Power doing telecom setups. There's also another company called Altergy. All this stuff is coming right now, where they're starting to integrate it into material handling equipment, bobcats, skid steers.
Mike, are you saying this is practical backup power for transmission towers like cell towers?
That's the primary use. I mean, Horizon, Sprint, all of them have cell phone backups for the 911 system. They have batteries, and then the fuel cells back up the batteries. The unit in here is a telecom unit. The unit at my house, the 5 kilowatt, is a telecom unit.
Is it?
Yeah. Yes.
If you go to an electric car versus a hydrogen electric hybrid,
right?
Is there an energy? Is it a loss because of the reconversion back to electric?
There's always losses. We don't defy the laws of physics anywhere. All right. The object of the game is free is free. If you're not paying for the fuel, what do you care how efficient it is? I don't care. I use all kinds of tons of energy at home, but it's free. Anybody have a problem with free? I love seeing that at zero electric bill every month.
$2.46. Well, you get zero.
Sometimes I get zero. Sometimes they give me a customer service charge. I don't know. So, anybody else? Because we've got to get the show started here.
So the key is it's a capital investment.
My house is solar.
No, like a solar system, absolutely. Like a kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, a vehicle's a bad investment. We can't use that. But
Actually, how much is the cost of like a setup like this?
a setup like this system was $175,000, everything. Okay? The last solar system she purchased 3 years ago was $230,000, was 30 kilowatts, not 40. And it's cheaper than the one she did. This will generate $14,000 worth of positive revenue a year.
As long as the tricks.
To come, but I'm sure she'll make it up from the parking lot shortly. I want to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Earth Day Texas, all the volunteers that have helped out here to make this event a possibility, to the homeowner, Alice DeBeers, and to my son and everybody else that believed in this. We're at the point now that we're going to be changing the world with this event. This is the start. Everybody knows this is 9/11. I'm declaring this day Energy Independence Day.
All right. All right. All right. That's great. That's great. Change the topic. There you go.
My goal ever since I met a group of students at the American Tour de Seoul was to do more with less. I've devoted my life to making the gift of renewable energy to the next generation. And I've asked the world to help me do it, and the world has responded. Some in good ways, some in bad ways. But that's what happens when you do disruptive technology. I want to thank everybody for coming. The list of speakers that we have all have the same motivation, where we're trying to save this planet for our children and our grandchildren. I have 5 grandchildren now, and I have another one on the way. It's getting more and more important to me on what we leave behind. We come into this world with nothing, we're going out with nothing. We live a block of time. Whatever we do in that block of time will define our existence on this planet for all eternity. So life is about what you do, not what you don't do or what you think about. Just remember, ideas are dead brain cells unless you act on them. I'm asking everybody to act on them. I don't believe in telling people what to do. I believe in leading by example. Watch what I do. And all of us should be an example for the person next to us. Everyone can do something to help save the planet, whether it's shutting off a light, whether it's passing the word, that there are solutions out there. I want to thank Toyota for coming today. It's not very often that we actually will get a fuel cell vehicle to an individual homeowner event, and that's a statement that goes a long way. They've basically done the hard part by packaging a fuel cell into a car that can travel down the road at 80 miles an hour, can get into crashes, and can sit in people's garages safely. The reason that I'm here today is to help create the infrastructure for that vehicle. And to afford these kinds of systems, they have to serve more than one function. Mm-hmm. So we're making your home your infrastructure. So you can take renewable, or you can take grid electric, and you can take it and turn it into hydrogen gas, which can be used for the vehicle, for cooking, for heating, for everything that we use fossil fuel for. We can distribute the costs of these systems over their lifetime, just like you do in your mortgage. So you'll be able to finance these systems under traditional financing, or like the Solar City models are out there for solar. Once you make the home the infrastructure, all of these things will happen. And we're very, very close to this right now. I've been in this industry for 30 years, and I never thought that I would see the day that we're going to have a hydrogen economy till now. When Toyota makes the statement that they're going to release 5,500 patents free to the world to enable this technology, that's saying something. And, you know, I applaud Toyota for having the spirit to do this. And I'm going to be following right behind them and helping them along the way, just as what they're doing is going to be helping our cause. So today is Energy Independence Day. Everybody celebrate, and let's move this technology forward. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Cassandra Kling and I'm with Bright Power and happy to be here volunteering to help out today. I'd like to thank Elise so much for letting us crazy people crash her home, and also for the vision to do something so amazing. Yeah, good. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Trammell Crow. He was going to come today, but he wasn't able to make it. In his stead, he sent a very able representative, Jerry Hess, who's the CEO of Earth Day Texas. And in this role, he provides strategic vision in the day-to-day operations and management, and focuses on broadening awareness for sustainability, conservation, and environmental education. Earth Day Texas is the largest exhibit of its type in the world, and provides a forum for business, not-for-profits, academic institutions, and government agencies to exhibit, network, and engage the public in environmental topics. I'd like to welcome Jerry Hess.
Good afternoon. Trammell is very much looking forward to...
There you go.
Let's see. Trammell is very much looking forward to speaking here today, and unfortunately, due to a scheduling conflict, he wasn't able to make it. But I'm extremely excited because I was able to come and see the first commercially viable solar hydrogen house in existence, and it really blew me away. I've never seen anything like it, and I really hope that this sets a model for a new paradigm here with respect to residential and potentially commercial power. It's really an amazing accomplishment, Mike, to have gotten this all together, and it's really exciting to see. I know you've been dedicated to energy and alternative energies for decades now, and to see all of this come to fruition, it's wonderful to be here, it's wonderful to be a part of, and it's really wonderful to see. Mike has been on our radar in Texas for a few years now. He came down to Earth Day Texas 2014 with one of the largest exhibits that we had on our footprint. Thousands and thousands of square feet of hydrogen cars, a boat, lawnmower, other devices. It was all things hydrogen. It was really an exceptional exhibit. And it's really amazing to see the genesis of his work from that day to standing here before you today, having toured this house. It's really remarkable, and I'm just so excited to be able to be a part of it. And Earth Day Texas is extremely excited to be able to be a sponsor of the event. We love supporting things like this, and we love providing a platform for people who are out there doing good things in sustainability, conservation, alternative energy, to come and share their message with people in Texas and throughout the country. At Earth Day Texas, we really try to be the collection point of all things environmental throughout the country. We attract people from all coasts. We attract people from various countries. We have a very large presence of people who come to present from North Texas and the Metroplex in general. We had over 1,200 exhibit spaces in our 2015 event. and that was up from about 250 spaces in our 2011 event. So the growth is really tremendous. The number of people getting involved and wanting to get involved has been tremendous over the past few years, and we're anticipating somewhere between 16 and 1,800 exhibit spaces at this event, and that is just a tremendous amount of environmental education and environmental programming for people to come, learn about, digest, understand. And we're really looking forward to Mike coming out and presenting the Jewel Box and some of his other initiatives, letting people in Texas see what's possible and see what they can do and what his technology can do for the air and their pocketbooks as well. One more thing that we're working on with Mike Tritsky is a first ever hydrogen highway, where we hope to have hydrogen cars start in Austin, Texas, with official blessing by some of the officials in Austin, and make its way all the way up to Earth Day, Texas at the fairgrounds of the State Fair of Texas, which is where we'll be holding Earth Day, Texas 2016, with a fueling stop in between. And we look forward to this event happening, the Hydrogen Highway, and we look forward to a lot of fanfare at Earth Day, Texas, celebrating that initiative. I encourage everyone to learn a little bit more about Earth Day, Texas on our website, earthdaytx.org. And we hope to see you all on April 22nd in Dallas, Texas for Earth Day, Texas 2016. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to Hopewell Township. If a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, then it follows that the future of 1,000 commercially produced solar hydrogen homes begins with the first home. Hopewell Township is honored to be the host community for that first home. Hopewell Township has always been, and I hope will always be, a community supportive of sustainable practices. Congratulations to Mike, Alice, and the sponsors for letting us see the possibility. Thank you for coming to the first commercially produced solar hydrogen home, and thank you for coming to Hopewell Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. I think I just wanted to say it's indeed an honor to be here, to be at the first solar hydrogen house, and especially in New Jersey, because New Jersey, as part of the deregulation, the renewable energy credits, those programs really went a long way. Started in 1999, and we have class 1, class 2, and we have solar, wind, and biomass. All those things were getting the credits, and people like Jeff Tittle from the Sierra Club, we worked closely, and I think the key here is that we have Office of Clean Energy as part of the Board of Public Utilities, and we do give out grants for various programs. And I just became a commissioner about just less than a year ago, and we're trying to see how we can bring about some changes and try to see how we can really mobilize. I think this is all takes effort from people like you who are really advocates and also enthusiastic about caring for the earth and trying to do something better, not only for yourself, but for your children and grandchildren. I think that makes a heck of a lot of difference. I think that's what it takes. It's not the money that is, I think, if you have the spirit and if you have the energy and you have the devotion and the perseverance and passion, I think you can get anything done. So individually, I commit myself to do whatever it is possible. One of the biggest challenges I have is to see that we are going to have offshore wind in the state of New Jersey. I think that's one of my major goals. If you know the history, I think the BOEM is going to be having auctions, 2 auctions and 2 sites, one in the north and one in the south, and nearly 3,000 megawatts plus offshore wind energy. I think there's a lot of research that's going on at RU Cool at the Rutgers University. I think a lot of pieces are coming together. It's such a big movement, and it's a big paradigm shift. It's also a transformation of thinking. A lot of times people are, if something works, why fix it? And I think that's not the. You have to be a disruptor. You have to change. You have to bring about new thinking. So I think that's what makes us different. And so I'm excited about this whole thing, and I've been pushing for hydrogen fuel cells, and I'm trying to see what other things we can do. And we have the solar. I think we are number 3 in the solar installations in the country. And we had a little bit of hiccup because suddenly the governor changed the course in terms of where he wanted to go with the clean energy programs. It's unfortunate, but I think. But we are not going to give up, and we're going to work hard and make it happen. Thank you, and God bless.
I have to say, I like that man's tie that was up here. It was a pretty nice tie, wasn't it? So this is an exciting day for me personally, and I'm so proud of what Mike's done and the organization that he's put together. And one of the things, this is not only the world's first commercially produced hydrogen home, but what's really cool to me is, in addition to that, with Mike's vision here, by putting this Toyota vehicle sitting here, and then, Mike said it was okay if I told the world today that him and I are officially partners, and he's working directly with Millennium Marine Energy, our company, and representing us here in the East Coast. But he's also got our equipment here, and so what you're actually seeing is, I was talking to Bob from Toyota a little bit ago, and I asked him, I says, have you ever seen all of the components in one place before? And this is really a historical event from that perspective too, because not only do you have a solar hydrogen home, but you have the car that runs on hydrogen, and you have the equipment that can fuel the car to run on hydrogen, all in the same place at the same time. So quite remarkable, and we're extremely honored to be part of this event. Millennium Marine Energy, thank you. And also, I got to talk with Alice, and wow, what a lady she is. And where is Alice? There she is. I haven't known you very long, but I gotta say, I love you, Alice. So awesome to have pioneers like that. People that are, like Toyota has in their commercial. After the naysayers and the handbrakes are going to be the people that'll put their foot down, put their hand up, and they're going to go forward and charge forward into the brave new world and build the hydrogen economy. Yeah. Alice is a pioneer like that. I'm also fortunate and blessed to be here today with one of my partners and dear friends from Hawaii and the Big Island. And if you haven't got a chance to talk to this guy, you really need to hear what they're doing too. And he's standing over there in the Hawaiian kind of shirt over there at the edge, Paul Pontio. And Paul, raise your hand so everybody knows where you're at. These guys have put together a microgrid and a microclimate. And there is no power line coming in from the company Helco. In Hawaii, the power company is named Helco. Aptly named. Okay? And they have no power line coming in, but they've built a microgrid there with 85 kilowatts of solar with hydrogen and Sony batteries working together, and they've been off grid for 2 years completely. And they have 10 houses in a microgrid off. So if you're ever at the Big Island, you need to try to check that place out. Pretty awesome. And it's been another opportunity for us to really vet our product and have people that were honest with us. It's really critical that if you ever become a customer of a company in these new eras, that you're truthful and honest and respectful to the companies and tell them if there's something they can do to make the product better. Because, we rely on your feedback directly. And that's what Blue Planet and that's what Mike has done for us in vetting our product and analyzing it and looking at it. And we couldn't do these things without you. Millennium Marine Energy is based in Dayton, Ohio, and we build hydrogen fueling infrastructure and hydrogen infrastructure products. For the longest time, it's been a chicken or the egg situation with the cars and the hydrogen. Do you put the cars out, but there's no place to fuel them, or do you put the fueling stations out and there's nobody to buy the hydrogen? What we believe we've done is we've moved the needle to where it's not so much a chicken and egg issue anymore, it's more of a will to do it. And the products that we have address the 5 main issues that there are to hydrogen infrastructure. And, well, actually, there's really 7. But the very first and most important piece of hydrogen infrastructure is safety. And there's a lot going on in the safety industry. There are several of my partners here that I've seen today that are involved in the codes and standards and the constructions of how to make hydrogen safe and to have a set of standards and codes that everyone has to follow to standardize the equipment to make sure that it's safe for the consumer. The next is very good power management and efficiency in the equipment itself. After that comes you have to be able to make the hydrogen. Then you have to be able to purify the hydrogen. Then you have to be able to store the hydrogen. You have to be able to dispense the hydrogen into a vehicle or use it in the home or whatever the application is. And so what Millennium Rain Energy has tried to focus on is do all of those things at one package. So you can provide a turnkey application where people don't have to go out and find this compressor and find that storage and find this way to dispense and find this way to make the hydrogen and make sure that it all blends together. We've tried to make plug-and-play systems, and the example of that is sitting over here with the renewable hydrogen station. All 5 of the things or all 7 of the things that you need are in that package as one plug-and-play drop-off package. So our goal and mission as a company is to develop these systems in such a way in volumes with the plans and strategies that we have to make these to where you can pencil it out on paper, that it makes mathematical sense for you to go get your own hydrogen fueling station, put it at your house, buy one of these cars, and leave fossil fuel behind forever. All right? So thank you very much. Appreciate this opportunity. Thanks again, Mike. Mike, where's Mike? Mike, I love you too, brother. All right?
All right.
Yeah. I was involved with a number of large properties that were being proposed for solar generation. And the regulations at the BP, this is probably before your time, right. You said you've only been there 1 year. They changed the requirements to connecting to the grid. Some of my clients spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on engineering, design, attorneys, and it went nowhere. Nowhere. There were 57 projects that were ready to go online in New Jersey, and not one of them did.
I see. All right, maybe we can meet separately and let me understand more and see how we can help out, yeah.
Okay, we don't need to take any more public time at this point. All right, thanks for at least giving it a shot. All right, anybody else?